Hi, Jonathan York from Bay Financial Partners, looking at the investment markets. Pretty interesting developments, obviously, in the US presidential election, with the news that the FBI is now going to reopen the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. That's obviously sent the sort of polls into a bit of a sort of spin. Latest polls appear to be sort of pretty much neck and neck. Some are showing that Trump actually has a slight lead. But it's still really going to come down to most of the battleground states, and it looks like Florida is really shaping up now as a sort of key to this presidential election. Obviously, what that's done is just added, quite a bit of uncertainty out there. Sort of just over a week ago, Mrs. Clinton was around sort of 8 to 10 points comfortable lead in the polls. So that's now narrowed to pretty much sort of flat, or maybe even a small lead for Trump. Now, obviously, implications for markets is really pretty dramatic there. A lot of Mr. Trump's policies and sort of implications for the economy have yet to be proved. And most analysts and sort of economists just say that his numbers just don't stack up. So certainly there's quite a bit more nervousness in the market now as we head down to the election next week. Added to that as well, obviously you've got Fed meeting coming up as well. Given the current sort of state of the US political system, I think it's very unlikely you see any move from the Fed in November. However, the latest GDP numbers were really pretty strong for the US. Over 2% growth, that's really pretty good. Upward revisions, and it's really looking like the US economy is in pretty good shape and should all point towards a rate increase in December. Interesting as well, coming out of Europe is that a lot of the banking stocks have actually had some pretty good earnings results over the last sort of 2 to 3 weeks. Most notably Barclays and even Deutsche. Obviously been a lot of talk about Deutsche Bank over the last sort of 3 to 4 months, but their profits are actually pretty reasonable and pretty constructive. Further good news for the New Zealand economy overnight. Latest dairy auctions were up quite aggressively, and that's just continued a trend there of sort of slightly better prices sort of at most of the auctions going forward. That obviously gives the dairy sector a further boost, where prices they're up around sort of 9 to 10%. Now, if you look at that, you say with sort of New Zealand Inc., the economy is growing at a pretty good rate, just over 3%. And with that further boost from the dairy auctions as well now, it'll just be interesting to see how the Reserve Bank sort of address this situation now at the meeting coming up. It would appear the housing market's coming off the board just a little bit in Auckland, but it's still pretty strong. But I'd say, with that New Zealand economy pushing along at a pretty good rate, you could even make a case that rates really need to be left unchanged now. As always, for those investors looking for income, there are plenty of options out there, and interested in discussing what options are available. Call us on 800 867 323 or go to the website www.bayfinancialpartners.co.nz for lots of interesting articles. We look forward to speaking to you soon.